Let me ask you something simple. Right now, is there food in your stomach? Or are you in a fasted state? It sounds like a trivial question. But by the end of this video, you will understand why the answer has profound implications. For cancer prevention, the research is extraordinary and it points to something most people have never been told. The hours when you are not eating may be just as important as what you eat. Today I want to share 4 specific blood conditions that form during fasting, conditions that cancer cells find deeply hostile, and that activate your immune system to hunt and destroy them. These are not theories, they are supported by peer-reviewed science, published in some of the most respected medical journals in the world. Before we get to the 4 conditions, you need to understand one fundamental truth about cancer cells. In 1931, a scientist won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for discovering something remarkable about how cancer cells behave. Unlike normal cells, cancer cells are overwhelmingly dependent on glucose. They consume it at a rate 10 to 18 times higher than healthy cells, using an inefficient fermentation process even when oxygen is available. This is called the Warburg effect, and it is the single most important metabolic vulnerability of cancer. When blood glucose drops during fasting, that vulnerability becomes a crisis for cancer cells. But low glucose is only the beginning. There are 3 more blood conditions that follow, and together they create an environment cancer cells genuinely cannot thrive in. The first fasting blood condition is the dramatic fall in insulin and IGF-1. Every time you eat, especially carbohydrates, your body releases insulin. Insulin triggers the release of another compound called IGF-1, an insulin-like growth factor. Both of these molecules act as growth signals not just for your normal cells, but also for cancer cells. A Korean cohort study found that elevated blood insulin levels were associated with up to double the risk of colorectal, breast, and pancreatic cancer. Now consider what happens during fasting. Research published in one of the world's leading cancer journals found that sustained fasting reduces circulating IGF-1 levels by more than 30%. That reduction directly suppresses a chain of cancer cell signaling, called the AKT-mTOR6K pathway, which is the primary mechanism cancer cells use to replicate themselves and resist treatment. Fasting essentially flips the off switch on one of cancer's most critical survival systems. The second fasting blood condition is the rise of ketone bodies. When glucose runs low, your liver begins breaking down fat and producing ketone bodies as an alternative fuel. Your brain, heart, and healthy muscle cells can use ketone bodies efficiently. Most cancer cells cannot. Their mitochondria, the energy generators inside cells, are too dysfunctional to process ketones effectively. This creates a metabolic gap between your healthy cells and cancer cells during fasting. Your normal cells stay fueled, while cancer cells enter a state of energy starvation. Research reviewed by cancer prevention scientists confirmed that elevated ketone levels in the blood are associated with slower tumor growth rates and improved survival in animal cancer models. But a more recent and even more important discovery was published in December 2025 in the journal Nature Metabolism. Scientists found that ketone bodies are not merely a backup fuel. They actually function as signaling molecules that reprogram immune cells. Specifically, ketones strengthen the cancer-killing function of CD8-positive T cells and prevent them from entering a state called T-cell exhaustion, which is when immune cells give up fighting after prolonged exposure to cancer. Fasting does not just starve cancer cells, it simultaneously recharges the immune cells that hunt them. The third fasting blood condition is the activation of autophagy. Autophagy is the cellular cleanup process by which cells disassemble and recycle damaged proteins and dysfunctional internal components. The scientist who decoded this mechanism received the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine in 2016. During fasting, as blood glucose falls, a protein called mTOR is suppressed, and this suppression awakens autophagy. In healthy cells, active autophagy removes precancerous damaged DNA and abnormal proteins before they can trigger malignant transformation. In cancer cells, autophagy does something equally powerful. It suppresses a protein called CD73. Cancer cells use CD73 to produce a molecule called adenosine, which paralyzes nearby immune cells, essentially putting a cloaking device around the tumor. When fasting activates autophagy and reduces CD73, the tumor's immune shield collapses. Research using an alternate day fasting model in colon cancer confirmed that autophagy-driven CD73 suppression dismantled the immunosuppressive environment surrounding the tumor, allowing immune cells to re-engage the cancer. The fourth fasting blood condition is the shift in cancer-related hormones. Fasting causes leptin to fall and adiponectin to rise. Leptin is a hormone released by fat cells. At chronic elevated levels, it acts as a pro-inflammatory growth signal and is strongly linked to the progression of breast cancer, colorectal cancer, and endometrial cancer. Adiponectin works in the opposite direction. It improves insulin sensitivity, reduces inflammation, and directly suppresses the growth environment of cancer cells. These two hormones move in opposite directions during fasting, creating what researchers describe as an anti-cancer hormonal landscape. Studies analyzing fasting-induced hormonal changes confirmed that beyond reducing insulin and IGF-1, fasting simultaneously lowers leptin and raises adiponectin, stacking multiple anti-cancer hormone conditions at the same time. So to summarize what fasting does to your blood, insulin and IGF-1 fall and cancer growth signals are cut off. Ketone bodies rise and cancer cells are energetically stranded. While immune cells are recharged, autophagy activates and cancer's immune shield is dismantled and leptin falls while adiponectin rises, completing a hostile hormonal environment for cancer. Now let us talk about how to actually create this environment safely and practically with a 7-day plan. The goal is not aggressive fasting. Extreme food restriction can cause muscle loss and immune suppression, which works against you. On days 1 and 2, simply move your dinner 1 hour earlier than usual and eliminate late-night eating. If you normally eat at 8 in the evening, eat at 7. This alone extends your overnight fast by 1 hour. From days 3 to 5, fix your dinner at 7 in the evening and eat breakfast between 7 and 8 in the morning. This creates a natural 12-hour fasting window. A 12-hour overnight fast is enough to begin meaningfully reducing IGF-1 levels and initiate autophagy. On days 6 and 7, try pushing dinner to between 6 and 7 in the evening and delaying your first meal until 10 or 11 in the morning. This 16-hour window is where ketone production begins in earnest, and all 4 anti-cancer blood conditions reach their peak strength. What can you consume during the fasting window without breaking it? Plain water is always safe and essential. Black coffee and plain green tea in modest amounts are generally considered compatible with a fasting state. However, any addition of sugar, honey, milk, or sweeteners triggers insulin release and immediately collapses the blood conditions we are trying to create. What you eat to break your fast matters enormously. The best choices are low glycemic, fiber-rich foods. Broccoli, cabbage, tofu, eggs, and a small handful of nuts are ideal. Broccoli in particular contains sulforaphane, which has been shown to work in synergy with fasting-activated autophagy to enhance cancer preventive effects. Breaking your fast with white rice, white bread, fruit juice, or sugary drinks causes an immediate insulin and IGF-1 spike that erases the very blood conditions your overnight fast created. Important cautions before we close. The 4 blood conditions described today are supported by serious science, but they do not apply equally to everyone. Anyone currently undergoing cancer treatment must consult their oncologist and a registered dietitian before changing eating patterns. During active treatment, maintaining body weight and muscle mass is critical and unsupervised. Fasting can cause serious harm. People managing diabetes must coordinate any fasting practice with their doctor. Due to hypoglycemia risk, older adults and individuals who are underweight should prioritize preventing muscle loss and begin with simply eliminating late-night eating rather than extending fasting windows dramatically. For generally healthy adults, a 12 to 14-hour overnight fast is considered safe by most experts and is a powerful starting point for reshaping your blood environment in ways that cancer cells fear. The most important idea I want you to carry from this video is this. Cancer cells thrive in a blood environment of constant feeding, high glucose, high insulin, and high growth factors. They are most vulnerable in the blood environment created by fasting. You do not need a dramatic protocol. Simply stopping eating after 7 in the evening tonight begins the process. If this video was valuable to you, please like and subscribe. Your support helps us reach more people with this kind of evidence-based health information. Next time, we reveal the best first meal to break your fast that amplifies these anti-cancer effects even further. Turn on notifications so you do not miss it. Thank you.